A very, very warm good evening. This is Arnav Chaudhary. You are on my YouTube channel, Arun Foot. It is June the 20th and a Friday. It's the evening on which a certain Bhutia held a press conference in Kolkata. I don't know if you've watched it. It's available on Baichung's personal Facebook page, the public Facebook page of Bhutia. And we talk a little bit, I guess, of the under-23s, a little bit maybe also of the FIFA Club World Cup, some exciting games, interesting games. And at the start, as always, maybe those of you who might not be watching this live, if you like what you're seeing, do leave a like behind, share it with other people as well, so they could join us. We're still at the start, or maybe watching it afterwards. And of course, do subscribe to the channel as well. Closing in on the 2,700 mark, maybe we will achieve that. And also watch the short videos that I make. I did do a little bit more of a tricky one where I spoke about the death of the Indian Super League today, yesterday, about the clubs realizing it. My Ravi Pushkar interview already has crossed the more than 1,100 views. Thanks a lot for that. Tomorrow I'll be putting online an interview with Anthony Andrews, the head coach of the East Bengal women's team. I think also very insightful interview. Nice talking about that. So thank you very much. And let's get into your points. Good evening, Zoravar. Thoughts on the Bhutia situation, AIFF? I thought good press conference from Bhai. I thought it was a good press conference. Baichung is much more articulate than Kalyan, which was visible from the press conference. Baichung has always been much more articulate than Kalyan Chaube. Baichung had done his homework in regard to certain numbers and certain things. But it was the most interesting question of the afternoon was put forward by my very good friend Dhiman Sarkar from the Hindustan Times, when he openly asked him and said, Baichung, do you want to be the new AIFF president? And Baichung sort of said, actually, no, I don't want to, but if people want to, then I would. Very interesting answer in that way. Very, very, I would say, very smart answer from Bhutia as well. But it is, of course, it's a blame game. But again, yes, as I said, it's sadly a blame game on both ends, at both sides, and it's not going to help Indian football in any way. Certain things which Baichung said, which I don't agree on, but again, there are things. Again, BBFSC was very, very clear that it is a pay-to-play model, which is 70% and 30% is about talent, and still they're producing. So, yeah, those are things which are facts. So I would say overall a good press conference, but again, that's something that it is. So sieht so aus, als würde der Retter des indischen Fußballs indische Fans auf Twitter beleidigen. Zoravar, the so-called savior of Indian football abusing Indian football fans on Twitter or on X. And I said it to the people today. I said, ignore. On it again, you all, by reacting, by spreading this stuff, are giving oxygen to all of this. Just ignore those people. I think you need to ignore, because there's so much of rubbish out there. Please ignore rubbish statements on Twitter. Do not answer them. You're giving them oxygen. Do not watch things which you think will not be good. Do not give them views. Do not give them clicks. Do not give them this. This can be my only request to all of you. That's why I also said it's like Indian football fans in today's world need to stand together. And Indian football fans in the last 2 days are at each other's throats. Roshan, that's why I'm saying this, no? That the Indian football fans are at each other's throats, and this is not helping. Mohun Bagan fans defending themselves, East Bengal fans defending themselves, then got the Blasters or BFC or even Mumbai City fans got involved, and then fans defending players because they play for their club. No, be honest. Under 23s, people are saying, listen, let's be very blunt about what is happening. Otherwise, Indian football will not progress by just. And again, this is blame game today. Yes, it was Navneet, in the sense, of course, Kalyan has fired the first shots. Baichung fired back. And again, Baichung, of course, was playing also on home turf. Don't forget it. In Kolkata, he's loved by the media as well. So therefore, these are things when I look at it, but it's not helping Indian football. So my simple point would be to the Indian football fans, be constructive. Criticism is good. Don't be personal with each other. My first request, I can only request. But again, I know X has become a platform of just being toxic. And if the more toxic it is, it spreads. But if we are strategic, that we only care about Indian football, that we care that Indian football should improve, then we all need to act that Indian football improves. Because club A, B, C, D, it does not matter, is nothing if Indian football doesn't exist. Especially fans from certain clubs need to understand that Indian football, if it doesn't exist, your club doesn't exist, right? This is an understanding that needs to be there. Hi, Blue. Did you speak about the ISL? Yes, EF, I did. But again, we wanted to speak about his tweet, and the ISL situation was something evolving at the time. So yeah, we did speak amongst ourselves. Kalyan Bachu is literally dogfight at this point. Blue, yeah, it is. But again, as you say, Kalyan made it so cheap using official X as PR account. But that's what he's been doing now. That is something. And EF, you're saying something very, very important. Kalyan Chaube needs to understand that Kalyan Chaube is not AIFF from the statement. Exactly. Kalyan Chaube is not the AIFF, and AIFF is not Kalyan Chaube. And this is something which is, it's so useless at the moment, right? The way things are moving forward, that one thinks it's like, maybe things could one day move in the right direction, and no, it can't. And to me, it's very, very clear. A lot of the people who are roaming around just need to leave Indian football once and for all. Just do something. Do whatever you want, but don't be there. Because you've shown that you don't help the development of Indian football, right? Hi, Yuvraj. I'm doing good. No day is dull day on Indian football. Yeah, Yuvraj, I thought now in the summer I'll be able to do less lives, and I'll spend this time outside in the garden, sip on a nice something, on a cool drink, or maybe have an ice cream or something, and then now, yeah, spending 2 hours and talking again with you guys. Again, I like this, but again, it just, we are that's the reality. Coming days, more WWE. Yeah, Vignesh, it is a verbal WWE, and it's I blame you, you blame me, you again blame me, I blame you. Why cannot one of these guys once say, okay, certain things I've done bad? Especially Kollan, why don't you say that? Maybe it's not in your character. Because Baichung did, this is something, right? Hey, Abhijit, since I started going belly up, I'm just waiting for Chris to put on the faces of fans who think that clubs are running Indian football, or those players who think really is that just... Abhijit, yeah, the danger is real. And a lot of people in the last 3-4 days are suddenly dead scared. They're suddenly realizing, oops, what happened, right? And this is something which is just insane to think, that we are in a situation at this moment in time, what I've been speaking about. How can we, how will we, how do we progress? And this is something where we are stuck. at this moment in time. And yeah, that's it. Please tell briefly what happened in Baichung press conference. Raj very simply said Baichung did a press conference and tried to blame Kalyan for certain things. And again, those things are very simple. Mismanagement of the AIFF, the appointment of Malum Marcus was done sort of behind the doors. How India pulled out of hosting the AFC Asian Cup 2027 and suddenly is bidding for the 31 edition. Blaming of BBFS, he then justified that BBFS actually produced national team players and all stuff. BBFS now has come even out with lists of naming players and all that stuff. And interesting was, again, as I said at the start, that my friend Dhiman Sarkar from the Hindustan Times asked him the question, Baichung, do you want to become president? Baichung actually tried to not answer that question. So for me, very interesting to see. Very interesting to see. So some people who are apparently influencers have been pushing negativity towards Chetri. That's why it doesn't speak about AFS problems and whatnot. I see it as a tension-seeking job. What's your take, Yuvraj? As I said, and you've seen my tweet today. Ignore. I tell all the people that you know. Ignore the people. Ignore all these people. Be it people writing stuff on X, on whatever platform, Insta or on YouTube or whatever, just ignore. Do me that favor. Don't give them oxygen to spread more fake information, wrong information, and hate. Let's do that. Let's be critical of Indian football, but from an accountability aspect. Let's be critical of Indian football in regard to, are you introspecting? Right? So, yeah. Sajid Samgame is a friend you lost even after Sajid played horrible, but according to people under will beat senior team. Blue, we have a problem amongst the fans as well. As I said, amongst, people are fighting amongst themselves and this and that and everything. Yeah, it's a problem. Indian football's problem is not only with the AIFF. It is with all stakeholders. I go back to what Ashish Negi said in that long video. Indian football's problem is across all levels. It is the AIFF, it is the state associations, it is FSDL, it is the clubs, it is the leagues, it is the academies, it is the coaches, it is the players, it is the media, it is the fans. If we like it or not, this is where we are stuck. We are stuck in this world. And this is something, and fans are so disillusional and unrealistic in their approach. If you think that our under 23s were better than the senior team, then you don't understand football, in my opinion. Anyone who says that does not understand football, because they were terrible. Tajikistan played a horrible game. Horrible. They gifted us that second goal. And every corner, every free kick was a threat. Change the keeper. But will it change that? Because our backline wasn't sure. But hey. Hi, Ochut. I've seen 4 AIFF presidents, the late Ashok Ghosh, late Priyaranjan Das Munshi, Praful Patel, and Kalyan Chaubey. Never seen such nonchalant behavior. Ochut, you're very right. I have had the pleasure of interacting with the late Mr. Das Munshi, with Priyada, with Praful Patel. Of course, no Kalyan Chaubey since 2001. And Priyanka Das Munshi and Praful Patel were a different class, because they were, if people like them or not, that is a top level Indian politician, right? Those were top class politicians with certain level of influence, So for me, with all due respect, Kollan has never been president material, will never be. Other gentlemen running around are not president material. It needs something. right? And this is something anywhere, in the world, if you are in top leadership positions, you have to be able to be a leader, you know? So that's the reality. I for I make you blind. Yeah, that's the question. Was there any tough question asked today? I think the first question we got to, if Baichung wants to be a president, and he didn't say yes or no. He tried to, what we Roshan in German would say, umschiffen. They tried to, get around it. So yeah. Mr. Bajaj has opened up about Kalyan Chaubey looks like somebody seeing writing on the wall, and Cass has also rattled some feathers. Obijit, he's made him the president. So what is he talking about? What is he? He's part of the problem. He's not part of the solution. Sorry. Move out. All of you guys, move out. Leave my Indian football alone. Because you've done enough damage over the last years. And you're not, crazy. In the press release by AIFF, which apparently Casey thinks is personal property, mentioned tarnish an image of federation. I mean, what's left now to tarnish? Trying to find, do you see something left? No, not. Yuvraj, it is very apparent if you see that press release. The press release was made ready, and maybe they were waiting for 1 or 2 points to add, but they just put it out. And that's the problem. The AIFF, there's no backbone left in that office, and this is very, very disappointing. As I say, Kushal Das, Sunanda Dhar did a very, 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 very good job given the situation. And I think we discussed it in the last few days a few times, right? That be it Praful Patel, be it Kushal, be it Sunanda, be it other people, the late Anil Kamath, they all did it to the best of the ability. And there are certain restrictions. So that's the reality. So what to say? So AIFF pulled out of the AFC bid and signed the MOU with Saudi. Nothing happened in the MOU. I'm sorry, but it's obvious that some individual gets some more benefits. EF, yes, but again, I always say if you want to say that there are monetary benefits gained by 1 or 2 persons, Kalyan was president, Shaji was secretary, then please prove it. I am not going to, again, that it makes logical sense, but prove it. If you can find that proof, put it out into public domain, take it to concerned authorities, but be careful with these allegations. I recently watched some Bangla channels or so-called legacy Kolkata club fans. They're in dilemma. They just know our club is always correct and opponent club is responsible for everything. Blame game. Yeah, Raj, that's very, very true. If you see this discussion, to me, the main problem is that if you criticize something linked to East Bengal, they will come after you. If you criticize something linked to Mohun Bagan, they will come after you. And especially the East Bengal part is very difficult because then some people will say, oh, you are Bangladeshis and all that kind of stuff. That is happening, right? And when Mohammedan Sporting is involved, then go somewhere else, right? So therefore, all of these things are very, very, it's unnecessary. Listen, you can have banter. Banter is part and parcel of football. But make it fun. Make it fun. Make it, you can make fun of people without hurting sentiments, right? So this is, that's the reality. And now you're most pessimistic about realistic person predicting that even you're scared of. My fear is that there will be no league in India in 2025-26. Top tier league. That we will not have I-League, I-League 2, I-League 3 and the ISL. Worst case scenario. Which is possible. Which is very, very possible. Because we've got an angle of the Supreme Court, and the more I think about it, the Supreme Court is heading us towards another FIFA ban. The more I think about it, we're heading towards that. Steamach met Modi, your thoughts? I don't care. XYZ, nice for him. Good for the Prime Minister, good for the Foreign Affairs Minister to meet him, but it is of no value. He's a former national team coach. Yes, he was in India, and he's done a lot of damage to us. It's that what I would ask Igor. If I meet him privately, I would surely ask, we've had we had good conversation in 2019. I will not deny that, and I had high hopes from him, but he's disappointed me. And those who know me that I am very honest and straightforward with people, and I would ask Igor, what the fuck? Sorry, what the did you do? Right? Do you think Bhutia could become next FA? I know he's trying to do that, but I don't think he has the numbers behind him. To be honest, it's at the moment every club. Yeah, Blue, that's part of the problem. But Kolkata is the most delusional. That's also true. Kalyan looked like his soul left his body when behind the scenes when the PC finished when John asked him about MRA. XYZ, you've just done I don't know how long press conference, and then someone comes up and holds a camera in your face. Yeah. I don't know. It's not. It looks awkward and all, and it's nice. It's a nice meme. It's a nice reel. But yeah, what am I going to say? And the problem is that all you guys take all of these things seriously. That is your biggest problem. Sorry to say that. This thing doesn't matter. The MRA thing is something that he would have to sort out with Reliance, but it's not got some journalist to ask him those kind of questions, right? And yeah. I think Aditya Thackeray will contest for the election. I think is a nice chap. Brennell, he's not. Why would he? Again, I don't know where you guys sometimes come up with names. Blame game started. AIFF totally joke. Yeah. I know Bhutia was also in committee when Igor was appointed. Then what did he do then? Raj, very valid question. Very valid question on that. Amidst all the negative, we have a hope. Kalyan Chaube, striker Banao, crash course, Yojana. We will be so back. Yeah. Very interesting, I thought, was in the press conference that Baichung, when he was talking about Sunil, he came out heavily in defense of Sunil, which I honestly have to say I found good from Bhutia today. So that's a positive. Again, Baichung is the way Baichung is, and good talker. And yeah, that's why thoughts on the Baichung Bhutia press conference, blame game. No, it's not a blame game as usual. I think Baichung tried to clarify things. I think it was not a pure blame game press conference. But of course, there were things where Baichung very validly raised topics about the leadership of Kalyan Chaube. I mean, those are the same questions that we raise. Now, of course, when he raises it, we say, okay, he said this, he here and forth in the blame game. But again, the points that Baichung raised are very, very valid, right? So that's the thing. Where's Kushal Das? Anyway, it looks like their farming time is over and they need to wear their uniforms once again. Kushal is chilling at home. He's retired and does some consultancy work here and there, as far as I know. And on the other side, Shunando is working in a sports tech company. This generation has lost the idea of crossing lines under the name of being dark comic or banters. Yuvraj, very, very right. You don't know, it's banter is, it's a problem. Banter to me is very, very normal in football. It is normal, at the moment, for example, let's say, to be a Man United fan is like being an East Bengal fan. Because you've been successful, you've got legacy, you've got history, you've got this, but you've not been successful for over in Man U's case, over a decade. And you would have said that to Liverpool until a few years ago, until Klopp won the Premier League. So therefore, or the Champions League and then the Premier League. But that's part of it. But this is, you're abusing people, you're abusing relatives, the mother. No, don't. Do not, as I say, do not become personal. Even when we talk of Kalyan Chaube being incompetent, do not abuse his family. Abuse his incompetence. Do not abuse his family. Simply said. And this, according to me. But again, I've said my ethics and my morals are higher than most other people in the world. I know that. So therefore, it is very, very difficult to reach that. But anyway, if I want to, I can also give Gali to people. Voters can never leave politics. I don't think is good, says Raj. Calling someone Gutka, Bangladeshi, Chinese, Khalistani isn't banter that everyone should understand. Yeah, Blue, very, very right. Okay, Kaushik says, जो लोग OCI player लाओ बोल रहा है, उन लोगों पता नहीं इंडियन अंडर 23 ने अंडर 23 को हराया था, अंडर 17 ने जापान को 4th हराया था. इसका मतलब टैलेंट इंडियन junior players. Kaushik, your infos are wrong. So India drew Argentina under 20, and that was not Argentina A, that was, I don't know, Argentina local players, none of the European based players. And India scored 4 against Japan, conceded 8, right? Let me put those hands out there. 8 goals, right? We don't have the talent. I am the one, moi, who started the discussion in 2001 in regard to OCI players. And I stick to it. We should have started then. Right? Baichung talked about it today, that he hopes that the government will do something about it. So that was also mentioned. So yeah. So that's the point. Worst case scenario, ISL doesn't take place. What happens to the Indian players in ISL? That they have a problem then. They will be unpaid. Because the question is, the problem is for the players, if the ISL doesn't happen, if other leagues doesn't happen, the question is, until when does it get sorted, right? And where can you go? Who will take Indian players? Not having ISL, I-League 2-3 is not a prediction that's going to happen. Okay, let's speak in a few weeks, right? The blame game continuously, and Indian football will continue to suffer because of personal grudges. Yeah, and incompetencies and lack of knowledge. Indian football is still tasty. You should have to ask that. End of Kalyan Chowbe press conference. One reporter asked about MRA. Kalyan Chowbe listened and he said, "Thank you," and didn't answer and ignored the reporter. Yashaj, again, happens around the world. I think that these haven't been to so many press conferences, this, that, and everything. It's yeah, he can be. But also using servers for don't trust. Yuvraj, if I get in rage mode, and very few have seen me in my life do that, run for cover. If some of you understand Bangla actress to what some of the YouTube channel is worse than you think, yeah, it's terrible. If Kalyan Chowbe thinks India will win, yeah, Pratik, he said that. Aditya Thackeray is just Zilula. I mean, who is he? Let's not talk about him. XYZ. My feeling is of now Baichung won't want to contest president. He knows it's too complex. He won't. Okay. Contest for president. He knows it's too complex to drop to handle. I felt so as well, Uchut. I felt that he's learned his lesson. So yeah. And to me, the question is, how does he handle it? And it seemed to me today that Baichung, the way he was prepared, the way he was talking, he was very, very clear and sure. It's like, guys, I need to be there. Aditya Thackeray came with the president, but before that, give us some time to dissociate ourselves with Indian football, says Yuvraj. AIFF released the president's statement on Bhutia PC and said he is free to join the Zoom. They said something. Baichung is part of that. Why does he need to join it? Guys, read the things properly. Read the whole thing properly. What does the press release say? It means that Baichung should raise the topics internally, which on the other side is a very valid point. Has Baichung Bhutia raised those points in those minutes? And if I ask other people, Baichung Bhutia has not raised those points within the AIFF. Would those points be allowed? That's a different question. Have you been to Salt Lake Stadium? People travel miles just to abuse and give galis. Orithro, it doesn't matter. That's a football stadium around the world. But on social media, people are using abusive language in the name of banter. Forget Salt Lake Stadium. Any stadium in the world, you will hear abuse. It's part and parcel. Do I like it? No. But again, it is part and parcel of football, which is very interesting. When I speak about other games, in other games, other sports, you don't have that. It's a very football specific thing. If I talk about basketball, if I talk about handball, even a sport like ice hockey, where they really bash up each other on the field if it needs to be, rugby and all the sports, the things that football has as a problem is not there. In a sport like rugby, they really I've been to one or two games, I think 2 games in Twickenham. The banter is brilliant. Yeah. There were 2 Argentine players based in Italy and Argentina. Yeah, but Orithro, it was not the best team that the Argentinians could put up. So therefore, reality. Yuvraj says, sir, back in school I had a Man U friends. I'm a Liverpool fan, so you can understand how tough it was, but it was never this ugly and cheap. Rivalries, okay, keep it the faces if you want, but there are limits. Exactly, that's what I mean. Why no ISL players coming about this matter? They all stay silent. Renil, there are employees of the clubs. If I was running a club and a player makes a statement about this, I would say, what the hell are you doing? Just shut up and play football. It's not your problem. Do you understand? Guys, honestly, also what I say to the Chaubes and the Bhutias, also to you all, just think, what makes sense or what not. As an Indian football player, if he makes a comment, I would actually find the player. It is not your problem. Just shut up. Very simple. At the age between 77 and 73, players have to test their ability. Meanwhile, they are bench warming. For example, Koma, Dheeraj, Nongdongba. If they're bench warming, would be nice. Some of them are not even bench warming, right? If ISL happens, the finals will be played as per top team's positioning. If it doesn't, and it's all I-League as top tier, then the final will be played in Switzerland. Yuvraj, I fear, and this is something which I think a lot of people don't realize. If the ISL doesn't happen, and if an alliance is not involved, and those 50 crores are not put into the AIFF coffers, the AIFF will not be able to run a league. And then the question will be, a lot of people will say, you know what, I don't want to run a team. This is the danger which people are not realizing. We have to be very, 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 very clear about those things, right? 34 minutes nearly done on this Friday evening of this live. If you're liking the conversation, if you're liking the discussion, do leave a like. 10 likes only so far. I think, guys, you can do better. We've got 31 people in the channel. Thanks everyone who are there. Share it with other people to join us. And of course, if you're new, you're watching, you're liking what you're hearing, do leave a subscription behind so that we can cross the 2,700 mark and move slowly towards the 2,700 mark. We're at 2,699 at the moment. So one more and we cross that little step. So please support. So now who will stand in the next election? Kalyan's corrupted buddies or who? XYZ, I have no clue. Because we don't know what the criteria are going to be. Right? Let the Supreme Court set. I think before we have the next election, we'll have a FIFA ban if it goes by plan. Yeah. And then maybe we'll get a normalization committee. Maybe have election in 1.5 years. And then by that time, we might be where Pakistan football was 2-3 years back, where nothing was happening, and then they had to sort it out and then had to restart everything. We could move to that situation. That is like the worst case scenario of a FIFA puts in a normalization committee, and those guys, most probably foreign guys or OCIs or PIOs, come in and they're like, let's have a conversation. Where are we? Let's see. Agreed. I've done numerous stage shows, and after that, you don't feel like talking for someone. You are just drained out. Exactly, Uchut. So therefore, that's why the things that people find funny or weird or awkward sometimes happen in the situation. It happens to some of the biggest stars in the world. So therefore, I don't take these things seriously. Yeah. How is Bhutia Football School? Hannibal, I think it's a good program. If you ask me, Kishore Tate and the other guys who have created and evolved it, I forgot his partner's name. Those two guys started it, and of course they have two models. One is the pay-to-play model, where you play football, you have to pay for it, and on the other side, there is the scholarship model that they have. So therefore, it's a good program. I was in Kalyan Stadium match of I-League. The match that was not of East Bengal. Some fans came East Bengal dress, and again, there was in it physically involved. What to say? Yeah, Raj, that's a problem. That is a problem of today. That's a problem of today. I-League tagline should be Switzerland calling. Yeah. Blue, nice one. First, we have to revamp all state AIFF committee because chor mosre bhai. Pratik, I said this yesterday. Not all state FAs have a problem. Right? Again, everything is being put in the same basket and everything is bad. No, it's not. There are some state FAs who have done good work, who do good work, and then you have to take them out of these discussions. Oh, no, I missed the PC. Can you please give me a quick rundown? Anupam, yeah, if you want a full rundown, listen to what I've been talking about in the last 37 minutes. The basic rundown is Bhutia defended himself, defended BBFS, blamed Kalyan Chaubey for the mismanagement that Kalyan Chaubey has done for for example, Manola Marquez was appointed. And first question asked by my friend Diman Sakar about, so to me, yeah, didn't really answer if he wants to be president, but like Uchuda said, my feeling is on one side he would like to be president, but he seems to have learned his lesson from last time. He said, if I don't have the backing, I will not stand. तब उसे प्लेयर है क्यों चाहे अगर सीखना है तो grassroots development सीखो. Kaushik, even if you do grassroots development properly today, at this moment in time, yeah, it is nearly 7 p.m. here in Germany. It's going to be 10:30 in India. In an Indian context, it will take you 20-30 years to sort it out, right? OCI players are the answers to our problems, but not for the short term, but for the long term. That is what I'm saying. I'm not saying it is a solution tomorrow or day after. It's a solution for the near future. So, that's the problem. It's not just in India. Even in the India vs Hong Kong game, one Indian female football fan, Mamatis, was splashed with a low. Hong Kong fans, while other Hong Kongers watched and celebrated. Yeah, but again, it's a problem, right? And it doesn't make it better that it's happened in Hong Kong. It's wherever it happens, it's wrong. Football, yes. Bangladesh is more than 10 origin players. I mean, what? Yeah, well, they have options. They already have contacted players, are in touch with players. Yeah. What is this Switzerland I-League thing? XYZ, it's about CAS, that the I-League champion would be decided in CAS. Kevin Boateng and Mutari were removed. Kevin Prince Boateng and Sule Mutari were removed before the last group came during the 2014 FIFA World Cup for speaking to the president about dues and facilities given to the Ghana player. Yes. As I said, shut up and play football. Very simple. That is your job. And if you want to talk about these things, go and speak to them, but don't do it publicly, right? I-League being top tier of football will have a theme song which will go like, come on, India, let's pray for football. Yeah. Yeah. But why did Bhutia get only one vote in last election? I mean, that's diabolic. Because people didn't think they would vote for him. Again, this is something which is AIFF, and again, you have to lobby, you have to do the work, and of course, that's the thing. OCI player चिकन जैसा है, बट उसको बनाना ने क्या लिया, मसाला भी चाहिए जो है grassroots. I don't think so. Kaushik, I don't know which side are you coming from. If you want to compare it to a meal, I'm just saying you want to do butter chicken and tandoori chicken or whatever you want to do it. You're getting a marinated piece of chicken or a butter chicken. You just have to cook it and then it's ready. Grassroots, it's going to take a long time and you have to have the right thing. If you start grassroots today, we just crossed 10:30 p.m. in India, right? And I don't have the right masala. I don't have the right ingredients. I don't even have the chicken. You can work for the next 100 years. You will not produce anything at grassroots. This is what needs to be understood. Nepal is the best women's team in South Asia, and Bangladesh is the best men's team in South Asia. And look at how fast Sri Lanka and Pakistan are growing both men's women we look on. Yeah, we need to sort ourselves out, XYZ. Restarting AIFF will be the best case scenario for us because either the people running the federation have zero idea that how big they have messed up, or they're just too cunning to cater their interests. I think it's the first part. I don't even think they're catering to their own interest, because the way that they're operating, they have no future in a lot of areas. Do you think Kalyan Chaubey doesn't have a future as the AIFF president or as a member of the IOA? He has no future as a politician. So therefore, they're not coming, right? That is the problem. आप लोग को शर्म आना चाहिए भाई. आप लोग जानते हो इंडिया में फुटबॉल रिसोर्सेस कितना कम है, ग्रासरूट्स नहीं है. जो प्लेयर इतना स्ट्रगल करके आ रहा है उन लोगों को नहीं निकाल दिया जे सिर्फ सक्सेस गया. Kaushik, again, the resources are not less. India has more resources than most countries who play a FIFA World Cup. India has more resources to some extent, even like a country like Argentina. We're talking about the FIFA World Champions. So first of all, get that right. We are spending our resources wrongly. That is our problem, So what does it, what's going to happen? So the question is here, grassroots struggle, great. Everybody struggles at grassroots. But if you're not good enough, you have to be better than someone to take someone's place, right? Why is Sunil Chhetri still playing at 40 plus? Because Sunil Chhetri is better than the rest who are willing and wanting to play. And don't tell me, we want to build strikers. Listen, it doesn't happen that way. National team, normally you've got a finished product, you make him a little better and then he plays. Remember what happened when Santosh was in Saudi and treatment with players? Yeah, Manoj. Hi, Sanjeev. I want to know, how would you like to restructure football if it was up to you? Sanjeev, there are 2-3 things, see, for us, I think there are 2-3 things which I would like to do with the AIFF. Looking at the current structure, I would like to get a president in who, like a Praful Patel or like a Priyanka Das Munshi, representative work. And whenever there is a problem where there is link to the government or to corporates needed, they step in, The secretariat should be run by the general secretary or the administrative side. I would like to have a CEO who comes in for liaison with the states, for liaison with AFC FIFA, working on short, mid, long-term plans with the technical department, with the national team department, with the coaching department. That is what the structure would make, and also talking regularly to stakeholders. Because at this moment in time, for example, I think that we need to have someone traveling regularly in the name of the AIFF across India and interacting with people. Yeah, I completely agree with Baichun. I don't know why have people raised that release the list of the contracted players. They just keep throwing numbers. Contracted players. Yeah, but XYZ, um, I know that list exists because it's a list from my side. Now restart means more years lost. We're already so much behind. Another restart means we will be San Marino level. I think again, San Marino level is. I know a lot of Indian football fans talk on that level. I think San Marino level to go that down to that level is going to be tough because that's a very very low level of football. Those are full time amateurs. But to me, very very clearly, what we need to do is this can't continue like this. And if someone comes in and doesn't change things dramatically, drastically, we're going to go worse. Fair enough. At least he's pragmatic. No 500 crore talk. I can get behind that. Anupam, yeah, but you need to know how to build and how to allow people to run. OCI players are a short-term fix is a myth. Of course, OCI players are not a short-term fix. Whatever we've had, um, it is a long-term fix, and it helps also in your local development. Looks like structural flaws on how Indian football is organized. Yes, Nixon, across all levels. Blue, we are at San Marino level. All we need is a funny Twitter page that will make the world cash. Okay. Didn't understand CAS. What has to do with CAS is based in Switzerland, XYZ. They're based in Lausanne. Ongoing situation with Israel and match is scheduled that team refused to AC Ash now difference from Mormon refused travel. Oh, Murari, we are in an active war situation now. So that of course it's different than when Mohun Bagan. When Mohun Bagan didn't travel, there was nothing happening. It happened on the day that Mohun Bagan is supposed to play. So next day is supposed to play. Totally different situation. And again, there is no inward and outbound travel of players, people, right? In and out of Iran. So for Taremi, Inter Milan striker of Iran, supposed to be in America for the FIFA Club World Cup. Interestingly, he would be allowed to travel, but he's stuck in Iran. Gas in Switzerland, yeah. One vote has to be personal, I feel, for Baichung XYZ. But in hindsight, Baichung may have been a better president, Kalyan and I don't know. In hindsight, again, because the other people around him would have been the same, right? Your secretary would have been the same, and other people would have been the same. So do you think it would have been as bad? Most probably, yes. And the infighting would have also happened, right? When Indian fans heard racist abuse in the name of banter, do you really think it's hyper emotion or their true self comes out in the right opportunity? Obviously, sometimes I think it's the true self of certain people. Sometimes I think it's lack of understanding, naivety, and sometimes it's hyper emotion. So it can be any of those, or sometimes, yeah. Do you think certain coach didn't play high level but coach bigger team? How do you see it in the level results? And yes, Murray, there are tons of them. No? Jose Mourinho didn't play at a high level. Julian Nagelsmann, Thomas Tuchel didn't play at a high level. So it happens. Oh, CAS is an international body. I thought CAS was born. No, CAS is a global body. XYZ, they're based in Switzerland. It's the Court of Arbitration of Sports. It's the highest body in sports. I've always said that's why going there is a big thing that Interkashi went there. For that, we can just need an India football hub with collection of all the Kalesh with the best funny account ever. Oops. Watch Ashini weekly show. He said AIFF needs to take another deep and communicate, which is non-existent now. I suggest to take 50% salary cut, everyone, staff plus players above 1 crore take. Those things are nice to say. People love to hear that, but it's not going to happen. So therefore, I think we need to be in a reality check. It's only if the clubs come together and say, you know what, we ourselves are going to be willing to adhere to this. We've had salary caps in Indian football. The clubs didn't stick to it. Most clubs didn't stick to it. So why are we talking about this? And DFB, I know the DFB also very well, and I know that the DFB does. So therefore, it is not the perfect organization. The time is really important after verdict of Supreme Court. Election is going to happen, and going this, Bhutia wants to become a savior in a full motive, only become president, which he couldn't last time. Yeah, but Raj, I think he also has understood that he needs the votes, right? So that's a huge challenge. So yeah, that's one. Will the AIFF be banned if the new constitution? Hannibal, if it goes through as it looks like at the moment, yes. Grassroots in India, funny. I asked Best Academy fanboy that if the grassroots of your academy stop and winner of Bhutia went there today, what's their contribution? Enough of chances. We need results now. Yeah, but playing, playing Gothia Cup or playing the Scandinavian Cup over there, all these Scandinavian tournaments, or playing in Spain, Italy, Germany over the summer is very nice. But those are all grassroots competitions. Why doesn't an Indian team go to play, let's say, the Dallas Cup, where the best youth teams from around the world play? That would be a real test. But hey, you will be beaten double digits, right? So no one's going to go there. Economically, Argentina is far behind India. They are one of the most debt-ridden countries in the world. But look at their football. Look at their sports, Ochut. Not only, not only football. भाई पहले football world को जानो, even world class World Cup winning national teams like England, Spain run after overseas origin players. They don't leave any chance. Have you seen in football any worse situation than now? High city, no. We've had difficult situations on the field, but off the field we were decent. I think that is my biggest concern at this moment in time, that our off-field management is very, very poor. Right? So I don't know if we're going to be able to solve it. When I ask about from under, they say they want to win trophies. Yeah, Blue, but that's the problem, right? Winning trophies is not, when you ask about grassroots, I understand. They don't care about grassroots. Again, does a Mr. Goenka care about grassroots? No. So that's the reality. बांग्लादेश को देख लो, उसे प्लेयर्स लेकर हर बार है. Kaushik, look at other countries. Indonesia is close to qualifying for a World Cup. Look at Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia. Look at Morocco, Algeria. There are tons of examples. If you want to go and don't like OCIs, that's your problem, right? And if you want to support grassroots in India, great. But grassroots in India has taken us nowhere over 100 years. FIFA is trying hard so that India plays World Cup, huge audience and revenue, but we don't want that. FIFA has also given up on us, Raj. Those days are gone. FIFA's it's with everything else. India's importance in the world, yeah, we're there. Who cares? Do you think India needed a new constitution now? No. I think the old constitution is fine. It needed some tweaking in regard to maybe representation in the EXCO. I still, again, because the individual representation normally doesn't happen. No? India has more resources than African countries. Look them playing regular World Cup. Yeah, there are tons of examples. AIFF should manage that properly before thinking for Indian football. Yeah, but that's very, very right, Nixon. But how is that going to happen? Compare Auckland City FC amateur players with Indian men's national team players. Uchud actually was having a conversation around the Bayern game, which they won, of course, 10-0. And the Germans are saying, oh, you know what, they're most probably 5th division, Oberliga level, right? So when I'm saying that I think that our top level national team players will not be able to come and play 6th division here in Germany for FC Remscheid, and I'm not wrong. Auckland City would beat most Indian teams. Well, now full-time amateurs play in Europe competitions, hence I mean getting smacked by England and will put the quality in you. Yeah, I don't know. Has been Indian body, we would have never got 33 points as Yuvraj in regard to Intakashi. Kaushik says, इसका मतलब सब क्या तो आप भी खो गए सर. कोलकाता फुटबॉल गाली गाली में मिल जाएगा, बट उन लोगों को सपोर्ट करने वाला नहीं है. Yeah. Players who are in a multi-year, multi-core contracts might just go to court if there is a big pay cut you take. No, they can't, because there's a force majeure which is part of the contract. If the league collapses, so no, I don't think it'll work. To me, it can't work in that way. Gas has disturbed the party now. AIFF has to spend again, says Raj. So if I understand correctly, we need someone as president who's people's person, has good terms with all governments and corporates, and a CEO who manages football inside out administratively. That would be the ideal case scenario, yes. Indian mentality is like, ek hero aega, sab theek kar dega. This system, it has components, they need to work in synergy and unison, which provides results. Nixon, but we want to, Indians like to work with jugaad, right? Jugaad is a word that a lot of Indians love, right? So therefore, that is part of the problem, right? We want some sort of solution which helps us in the short term and takes us forward, and that's not happening. That is not happening. A friend of mine asked Yuvraj, want to follow Indian football, where to start? I said, watch Kalyan, latest PC, watched, and thankfully I have saved a person from depression in future. I've saved a person. Yuvraj, listen, anyone who wants to support Indian football has to let them support Indian football. Why put them into this agony, right? But it is, yeah. But yeah. But I don't know. It's difficult, no? 2000 World Cup, majority of the Senegal team was based in France. Yeah, some of them were even born in France. Reynolds says, like, theoretically, Supreme Court passes the new constitution and FIFA bans because of third-party interference. Will the new constitution bill be valid, or will it put in the bin? It has to be put in the bin, Reynolds. See, the point to me is there are so many flaws in this constitution, that the way that it has been drafted, because there is no governance expert involved in this. Maybe a sports lawyer, maybe some sports legal and governance people. That's the only way forward. So Delhi FC isn't getting relegated this season. Why? Hannibal, they've put in some case somewhere, I think Delhi High Court. I don't know what is going to happen. Our players can easily get into the top tier of football. Wakanda's top tier. Yeah, maybe Wakanda, maybe Coruscant. I don't know, maybe some other fictitious planet league. Yeah, that's very sad. Very, very sad. Sir, comment kar raha hu bura mat maniye. No problem, Koshik. अच्छा लगता है फुटबॉल को लेकर बात करना. No problem, Koshik. Ask your questions. I'm trying to answer it, but again, I will, with you or with anybody else, I don't need to agree. I have an opinion. If you can prove me that I'm wrong, I will say that, and then I'll say something else. But when I think, I feel, I believe I'm right, I will say that, right? So therefore, for me, yeah, that's the point. The constitution should have been sent to FIFA and AFC in the very first place. That's the problem, Ochut. That was said in 2022. In 2022, what was discussed? We'll allow the under-17 Women's World Cup. You appoint interim body. The constitution that you're thinking of implementing needs to be sent to us. We will give you a feedback. Then you get it cleared by the Supreme Court according to the sports code. The sports code in India already has a lot of flaws. Those people who are fighting for the sports code are already wrong. Because the first point of the sports code, which is in violation in regard to sports administration, says that you have to give representation to sporting persons. And if I see sporting persons in Indian football, I run away. I want sports management people. So the new constitution will put in the bin probably Bajaj we're going to file case in FIFA for banning India. Yeah. That should be the normal route. But again, we are in India, and at the moment in India, normal route is very difficult. So I don't know what's going to happen. Other countries wait for big international friendlies, major players, key changes. We wait for court verdicts and court's blessings. Yeah, or maybe an astrologer deciding which players to play, Yuvraj. So these are, it is very, very disappointing to see to where we've come to in the last few years, and hoping that things, we wish, we hope, we pray something better will come out. But yeah, very, very difficult these days. No? At the moment, it is very, very difficult where we are. All right, over an hour already on this live. Sorry. Quick reminder, if you're liking the conversation, do leave a like behind. 16 so far. Share it with other people. Even those who are watching maybe later, do leave a like behind. Share it. And yeah, we're still one short of the 2,700 mark with a 2,699. Thanks a lot for all those who've subscribed. If you're new, be part of the conversation. Ask your questions. And a reminder, of course, to everybody that if you want to watch, or please do watch my short videos that I try and make every day. Did something today about death of the ISL. Yeah, a little big, but watch it. You know, where I put together in about 6 minutes, what I feel, what the situation is at the moment. Yesterday, about talking about the ISL clubs. Did a couple of days back my interview with Ravi Pushkar of FC Goa, talking about the situation that he mentioned. Over 1,100 views already. Thank you very much for that. And CAS decision in favor of Interkashi. Look at those videos. There are even some old ones. I mentioned yesterday, people should be watching when I spoke about the ISL and its future in April. Again, we can potentially sort all of these problems. All of these problems could be still solved, but we're in a very, very, very tricky scenario. By the way, Anwar case isn't important considering the bigger picture of Indian football. That case actually showed how incompetent the system is, as lawyer in attempt stating ill what he represents others. Very right, Blue. I think that was the start of the end. That press conference, that decision by the PSC was just a joke, right? And that's the starting point of all this chaos, right? At the same time, PSC doesn't care, AIFF don't care, and most important, Mohun don't care either. Yeah, that's the problem. If Mohun Bagan cared, they would have taken this case to CAS by now. And Anwar Ali would have been banned, East Bengal would have been banned, Delhi FC would have been banned. Astrologers key disciple is meeting in Prime Minister. See, Yuvraj, who knows? Peak incompetency, says Blue. Yeah, it is. I don't know where we can hide. It is so embarrassing these days. And yeah, let's see. Hi, Jordan. Good to see you back. Sir, can you briefly explain Anwar case? Yuvraj, I tell you two things. I will try and explain it to you briefly. I have done, I don't know how many videos on that topic. There are 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 5 videos in total on the topic. Watch the first one. Because in the first one, I explain what it is. Simple thing. Anwar Ali on loan from Delhi FC to Mohun Bagan, long-term loan contract. Okay, can be discussed if a 4-year loan contract is right or wrong. Different discussion. East Bengal approach Delhi FC and Ranjit and say, hey, we want to take the player, permanent transfer, we'll give you a transfer fee, this, that, everything. We want to take the player. Okay. Conversation even with the player happens. That already is a violation because the player who's contracted, you can only contact a player 6 months before the end of his contract, or you have the okay from the club, a written okay from the club to say, listen, you and the agent can talk to another club. We're fine with it. Those are the first violations. It didn't even go to that point that the player actually left. Mohun Bagan signed for East Bengal. So, and that normally means to me, East Bengal, illegal approach of a player means 2-window transfer ban. Anwar Ali as the player, banned for 3 to 4 months from playing, gets a fine. And Delhi FC also gets most probably a 2-window transfer ban, and all of them actually get different levels of fines. Case shut, done. Was not done. And of course, Anwar would have to go back to Mohun Bagan, right? So much hate in football making it easy. Jordan is just it's just, I feel it's unbearable. It's gone to a level where I feel it is so bad, and I honestly don't know how can this overall system prevail, right? It's a huge problem in my opinion. Something Bhutia as president will same okay. But if he really wants to same to us, but the other members like General Secretary Technical Committee will let him at the end. All are same there, and if some difference arises between them, then they're going to vote against him. See, Raj, the point is the president normally should be in a position to mediate, to bring people together, and to get the people to take a right decision. It should not be that the president is the one and all, which, for example, Kalyan is doing at the moment. So my question would be, if you ask me the way that you're asking, is like, hey, how do we sort it out in a way that, how do we get it done, right? So I don't know. Hate is for people running Indian football, not Indian football. Yeah. Yuvraj, the problem is, a friend of mine told me today. He says engagement on, especially on X, is on hate, on racism, misogyny, and all those things, because the filters don't work anymore. No. So that's the thing. Hyde, who's the weakest president? Dark Knight, at the moment, I've seen 3, and I would say Kalyan Chaubey. If Bhutia somewhere that, sir, off the topic, Inter-Kashi fans are too small in numbers, but how do you see their engagement despite not watching the team play and all? Also, it was as we are new to the scenario. Yuvraj, I said that when you guys did that Twitter space. I'm really impressed by the small group, hardcore group of fans that Inter-Kashi has been able to build. I think if you remember and watch the interview that Pritchijit gave to me, Pritchijit mentioned the same thing. So therefore, you've done well. I think you're raising the right voice in the name of your club, defending your club. That's great. But again, as I said to you and some other guys today, is don't react to everything. Some of the stuff, just let it stand and don't care, because you're giving oxygen to those people who are spreading wrong information, abusing you, misinformation, and all that stuff. I think Inter-Kashi is very, very right as a club to take the path that they've taken. The mistakes were done by the others. It's not the fault of the club. And and I think it would be a good addition to the ISL if Inter-Kashi plays ISL. But again, yes, I know that your management, the owners, are working towards getting the club to pay in UP, but it shows us again, we've seen that with, let's say, Rajasthan United, with other teams as well, that in an Indian context, Indian scenario, it is very, very difficult to move from A to B and to actually play in the state that you come from. Actually, like in war-torn countries, hate spread the most Indian football in that situation, frustration causing hate to the spread. We need to be careful about this as civil war is going on. Opposite. Blue, very good point. Very, yeah. Yeah. But the problem is that a lot of fans only care about their own little thing, and that's my concern. Be a fan of a club, but if you're a fan of your club, you're part of the bigger Indian football family. Yeah. Yeah. That recently Mongolia football teams protest against the corruption in the football federation. Do the players have the right to do so? Then, yes, they have. But this is a different thing. If they can prove again, and they're not the first. I remember Cameroon did it. I think Samuel Eto'o was the guy who started it. They didn't play and all that. Africa, it happens once in a while. That's fine. But in this case of what's happening in regard to the ISL, if I was running a team, I would say to the players, even I would not speak, because I would speak to the people internally at FSDL, Reliance, and try to sort it out. There are smart ways of doing it, right? A lot of people think that publicly you can sort these things out. No, publicly you make things worse. Hi Kumar, welcome back. After Takashi's appeal committee decision to reverse the Wakash, do you feel that there was something else to the story? Why AC did what they did? Is there needs to be a torrent? Anupam, yes, there is. But again, let CAS come out with the second judgment. And then let's see. I mean, the committees in the AIFF are an issue, and they need to be discussed. And I think the legal people in this, who are involved, need to understand their role, and they need to understand law of sports, right, the right way. Or if they've been compromised in some sort of form way, that needs to be investigated. And then if that is true, then they need to they face the law. Dark Nag Bhai, your choice of words is wrong. The word is not weakest, it is wickedest, says Yuvraj. Oops. Thanks a lot for the compliments. It means a lot. Yuvraj, I'm saying this not for the sake of saying this. I think you know me a little bit now. If you guys weren't good and there's criticism to be made, and if you said something wrong, I will tell you that. So, right, that's me. It is fascinating. Like, I know Pastine's using the Aspera, but they literally produce a Scottish league level player in Uday Dagba. Was Palestine good like this in the past? Not that I know of, Renan. But again, I don't know enough about Palestine football to be able to tell you. Do you think if Prabhu Patel was there, we would have been signed the extension documents by now? Yeah, 100%. Prabhu Patel got Reliance, right? Prabhu Patel came, Prabhu Patel, when he in 2010 got Reliance to replace Subhash Chandra's own Z group, right? Saved Indian football from a situation where, you have a marketing commercial partner, television rights partner who didn't want to do anything. And that is, that's something which works. Baichung trying his best to score Mauke pe Chauka. Both of them are nothing but are the ones responsible for incompetent management. Baichung considers himself to be the base of Grassroots. Dang. Yeah, but Angry Birds, Baichung knows more than Kalyan for sure. Is he the perfect candidate? No, he's not. So therefore, that's the point. No? That's the point of discussion that we need to have. And now, why these legacy fans saying if ISL shuts down, then does not matter? Most East Bengal saying that they were present even before ISL and after ISL. They are the reason in football life always. Kumar, let them. I've said this multiple times today, and my request to everyone who's listening, who's watching, maybe afterwards also, don't react to everything that you read, watch, see. Don't even, if you think that there's something going to be which is going to be useless, don't watch it. I have stopped watching a lot of things on, so I used to, in the past, I used to try and read as much as I could, read and watch as much as I could. I've cut it down dramatically, and it is good. I talk more about Mohun Bagan, but it's because I don't follow others that much, though I try to be neutral off the field as much as possible and trying to find the problems rather than flattering. Blue, people like you are, I think a lot of other Mohun Bagan fans, East Bengal fans, Mountain fans, even Blasters, BFC fans, some of them could learn something from people like you, right? There are others. Look at, someone like a Shaggy, who is a hardcore BFC fan, but Shaggy, also is interested in generally in Indian football, but especially is interested in women's football. The same can be said about Roshan. Roshan is, of course, yes, based here in, based here in Germany, and he's a Blasters fan. So, yeah. Our SOP is simple, sir. If we are right, the facts and evidences are with us. Why to abuse when you can silence with facts and evidences? That's right. But sometimes certain people, just let them say what they say and let it run and let them a lot of people, again, even if you argue, by now that certain people, if you want to argue, you can argue about them about things, but it is not going to help you, right? It is not helping you because these people are not going to believe in it, So therefore, that's the reality. We fans are not united when clubs come in between, are all becoming enemies of each other. Please think about it in football. Braj, perfectly said. Very, 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 very well said. That's very, very true. I would prefer Saurav Ganguly as the AIFF head more than Kalyan Chaubey or Bhutia sir. Sorry to say, yeah, but not going to work. It would create other kinds of problems. Yuvraj says, no hate to East Bengal fans, but why East Bengal fans are too happy about ISIL is because of the brainwashing and misleading stupidity that the new messiah. Not only that, Yuvraj, they have not been able to win. I mean, I have said this in the past and say this from my roots. I support East Bengal. And I've said in the past, even to someone like Nituda, what I feel is going wrong or what is wrong at the club. Right? But since ISL, working at Mumbai City, and then also even at Punjab FC or Round Glass Punjab in my time, and East Bengal is sadly a lost case because East Bengal sees itself as a victim, right? And people sell that victim card. East Bengal is not a victim. The club, the people running the club have maneuvered the club where it is, right? That is the problem. And these people have been around for a long, long time, and they are in charge of the field. In other parts of the world, most of the people around, even in different bodies of the club, wouldn't be around. Actually, in the same extent to Mohun Bagan, even though they've been successful over the last decade. What is this 900 rupees shoe controversy? Hannibal, supposedly someone bought, I think it was Kalyan Chaubey, bought shoes of 900 rupees on an AIFF credit card. If that's true, I mean, sheer stupidity. But anyway. Is Shaggy the person behind women's football channel? Yes, he is, Hannibal. That is, yeah. Sorry, but for some reason, mostly East Bengal Minerva fans are celebrating. Yeah. I guess they're just brainwashed, I would say, is the main thing. Have you talked to FSL? If yes, do you think they have one of the best sports lawyers in the system? I've talked to them, yes. Have the best sports lawyer? I don't know. I don't know the sports lawyer, so I can't say. Has FSL runs both the grassroots in their country? They have, but not to the level that we need them. That's the problem. And now that, do you think a strong political leader will put his ring into the race? BJ will be close to the Ambani family. Kumar, I don't know. This race is so open. If and when it happens. So let's wait and see what they do. The one thing Baichung said today, and I've been told from political people as well, is that the BJP has realized the mistake of getting Kalyan Chaubey on board. That is something which I find very, very interesting, that they are actually open to the fact of realizing, you know what, oops, this is not someone who we should have gotten and who we should have brought in. This realization is now there because it's not just football, but also in the IOA, Kalyan has not done a good job. So that's a realization which is there with the BJP. Seen some comments of Giant Club fans, they're not bothered of ISL because they think that they will survive. Now, if East Bengal and Mohun Bagan don't realize, that if, let's say, Mr. Goenka leaves, if Imami leaves, that who will then fund them? Don't East Bengal, Mohun Bagan move into a Mohammedan Sporting situation? Because all that they've done in the last few years, I think no corporate would come forward and fund them. If you ask me, I would tell corporates, difficult. Indian football, Indian sports, From your position and insight, what are players' sentiments towards the AIFF and the presence on pitch, comments made about height and over commenting and unbelieving? They don't care, Anupam. The players, some of them don't even know that Kalyan was an ex-player. Some they don't care, honestly. And do they watch all the comments and know what all the comments are? No, they're not. What do you think about Saurav Ganguly as the head and what problems can occur? Angry Birds, he's part of the Kolkata Maidan culture, so that should be more than enough. I'm a Mohun Bagan supporter, and I know for a fact that many of our fans are delusional. Mohun Bagan might survive by playing CFL and all, but will be reduced to the level of Bhawanipur FC. Palash, yes, that is sadly very, very right. Yeah, and that is what's one thing. If Mohun Bagan and East Bengal are happy to play CFL again, then they are in in joyous territory. But otherwise, it's going to be tough. Tried to explain them, but initially I got hate, and later on, comment was deleted. Yeah, not just saying. I don't argue on Twitter anymore. Right? The times are gone. I've given up. I rarely also reply nowadays because I'm fed up. I don't want to waste my time trying to explain to people. If people don't want to understand, what am I going to do? I'm getting old. I'm getting old with Indian football due to Indian football. I saw how good Roundglass is doing in Punjab. For some reason, they are still blazing. Blue, they've done good, but I feel that Roundglass, Punjab, or Punjab FC could have done better if certain things were done over the last 5-6 years. But again, I left in 2019, and it's like with certain things at Mumbai City or generally in Indian football, I tell people certain things, and afterwards, a lot of things become true, and they've not done it. So therefore, they are where they are. Punjab FC should be much, much stronger with the kind of investment than the owners have put in. If FIFA bans India and puts the constitution in dustbin, will it take some months or years to get out of that situation? Daniel, it depends on numerous factors. Normally, I would say if they do put in a normalization committee, and their job is to look at the structure and organization, I think it will most probably take 12 to 18 months to sort out. And the question is, what can be run in that time? You know? Not being harsh, but Kalyan Chaubey might not need to buy shoes anymore and meet up with fans will do the courtesy. Yeah, but Yuvraj, again, this is something, doesn't need to be said. Another, BJP top brass has good connection with the Ambani family and top conglomerate. BJP will sort this mess out of office. No, they won't. They're not bothered about football. Whom are you making an assumption which is not there? So, Bhutia said Kalyan never played for Indian national team. Haniba, he said that, and he was never. Baichung, and one thing was wrong because I remember Kalyan Chaubey was part of the 1999 SAF championship team. He was the third goalkeeper behind Virendra Singh and Prashant Dora. I think Prashant Dora, I think, was number 2, and he didn't play, but he was part of the squad. So I feel Baichung misjudged this whole thing, right? So that is something which I recognize. But their livelihood and AIFF operations, why would they not care? Anupam, do they understand that? Ask a player. They don't care. They don't understand. They don't care, right? Hey Jordan, let's talk about OCI players. I'm not too familiar with names of now, but I remember a few those days like Michael Chopra, Eddie Kodiat. Yeah, Eddie Kodiat, and one guy in Latin America came guitars. Yes, very true. Current players, of course, we talk about Yandanda, Dylan Markande, Danny Bath, Lakshmikant in Portugal, and got other players elsewhere. Don't you think we have got a loss for a loss that might have pushed most of the corporates to prohibit evolving as a club? In what way, Angry Birds, do you mean that? It's an interesting point, but in what way would you say that it's a loss for a loss? Kalyan Chaube's performance as a goalkeeper was poor during his one days. Yeah, he got better at Salgaocar, right? He played quite a time at Salgaocar, and mainly in his career. And yeah, you think if we get a stable federation, would be in better position right now? Then most probably. Again, I know you guys love to ask speculative question. If it was this, would that be better? I honestly don't know. The point is most probably yes, but the question is also national team wise, Igor Stimac was the coach. So the question is, would they have gotten rid of him? So not sure. So yeah, difficult to say. I would think I don't know. I honestly don't know. Want to understand how a player market value is decided and how Indian players have inflated value. So Raj, let's say I want to pay you 10 rupees. You say, no, you have to pay me 30. And we try and negotiate. I say, no, I want to pay you 10. I can't pay you more. Please, please, please. And I say, I'm still, again, I could say I stick to 10, you stick to 30, and we have no deal. Sometimes you say, oh, you know what, we finalize the deal at 25. Sometimes you finalize the deal at, let's say, 15. Sometimes I finalize the deal at 30 or 10. So it depends on negotiations. He's a big shot now because he got married to a top Mohun Bagan official's daughter. Polash, yes. Anjan Mitra's daughter, Shohini, is his wife. But that is said I know Mohun Bagan circles, but Kalyan Chaube actually in Indian football circles is his own man because he was a BJP person or is a BJP person. How do you feel about the model FSDI is proposing? Blue, if that model can work, it is not bad because the model we had for 11 years has not worked. Let's be honest about that. Ambani's committed to invest huge in sports in the Northeast Rising Summit. I think nobody has the power to Reliance, but they have a new proposition to take it or leave it. Kumar, how many people commit to investments at all these summits, not in India, but around the world? Most of these investments never happen. So I don't take it seriously. They've already invested in sports in the Northeast. And for Reliance to invest, Reliance Foundation is working in multiple sports. It doesn't have to be in football. So understand that BJP and Reliance is not the same. Otherwise, Kalyan Chaube would not have been president if it was up to Reliance. Hey, Rushabh, can AIFF launch a tender to run I-League and I-League 2? Yeah, good. But who's going to come forward? Right? I think they have problems now with Shachi. So who's going to come forward? As a whole, football ecosystem that has gotten no future, no proper execution, and incompetitive being non-cooperative at all aspects. That's what I think about Chris. Acha, okay. Yeah. Angry Birds, agree with you on that front. Ona, do you think Aditya Thackeray wants to become AIFF president? I don't know. You're now the second or third person to ask me this today. I don't. Was there any comment made about Aditya Thackeray? I don't know. Again, I think Aditya Thackeray needs to fight with his father and party to get back to power in Maharashtra. Is it possible that Reliance run ISL while let's say Adani runs I-League? No. Adani is not interested in football. Reliance has tried in the past to get them to have an ISL team. I had a baller inside me and woke up and wanted to try my luck again. Football absolutely hate how everything you have to pay. I mean, just train, you have to pay. It's insane. We'll try anyway. Rushabh, don't give up. Maybe Maybe it turns around for you. Is there any opportunity for new corporate entity or a new company to make money in football? No. At this moment, no. Anybody who comes and loses money. To make money, you would have to have a broadcast. I mean, all the money that cricket supposedly makes, the main money comes from the broadcaster. And no broadcaster wants to put money into Indian football at this moment in time. I'm from Kolkata, but still don't think Bachung will be a good for AIFF president. Prashant, I think that a lot of people will say that. Some people will say otherwise. I don't know if Bachung is really the candidate that we want and that we need. I want to pursue a career, something related to football. I have coaching in my mind. For that, I have decided to go this path, although I have a job in software development, but I'm willing to leave if possible. Rushabh, try. If you can combine it, try. Is there any logic not to accept FSDL's deal? I'm sure no one will even give 10 crore to AIFF other than Reliance. AIFF is in the negotiation position. No. The problem is that if you look at from FSDL, I gave them 50 crores a year, 750 crores over a 15-year period. What's the outcome? Nothing, right? Andan is most probably trying their luck in arms industry, right? I don't know what they're trying their luck at. AIFF don't care about football. They want Reliance money. Okay. Only football coaching camps at big metros might make money right now. Plus, there are a lot of these pay-to-play centers in the big cities. Also, these turfs where people play for fun, those are making money, right? So, yeah. If the partner is personal interest, that's a different point. I don't think if I want personal interest, right? Isn't the logic, okay, listen, I want to make money on the sites, but I have to keep the system running. Isn't it? Or am I wrong? I destroy the system and no money is coming in. How will I make money on the side? Hi, sir. Seeing Interkashi cases, I think Kalyan Chaub is just a face for creating problems. Some other people are into it because I'm seeing legacy clubs can't comply. So now they can't control Indian football. Okay. Can you explain brief how much percentage Reliance is ready to share its profit with the AIFF? Utsav, very clear. They're saying that the new body would have 60% of the club of the clubs, 24% Reliance, and 16% AIFF. So that means if you are earning 100 rupees, 16 of those would go to the AIFF. That you always said about the quality of coaching. Is it because of coach educators' quality or coaching license not up to the quality of other nations or coaches not trying to improve? The coaching license is the same, right? It is the same in Asia. So therefore, that is not the problem. It's the coaches, the license. I don't know. Then what's the problem? Blue, I don't know. I mean, if you want to make money off the system, there needs to be money in the system. But that's not the case. So therefore, we're stuck in it, right? One of our classmates got selected for India, 17, no game time, just bench bombing after releasing. He left after 2 years and now in corporate job. Many of them have left Indian football. Yeah, but Raj, I am also of the opinion, that if you are in a youth national team and you don't get playing time, then you have to try harder, So for me, I have a different opinion. A lot of kids give up too early because it's a hard slog. To be a professional sports person is a hard slog. If he's part of the U70 team not playing, maybe maybe you're not good enough. The coach doesn't think this, that, everything. Then yeah. Dada, where is Chirag Tanna right now? I'm in touch with him. He's interested for president. Chirag is in Mumbai. He's no longer with Reliance. I don't think he's going to run for president. Not happening. With these inflated salaries and little to no revenue for clubs, will the proposed system even survive which Reliance is trying to put forward? Rushabh, it could. But the problem is the clubs at some stage either reduce it's on the clubs to reduce their wage bills. But if you listen to how the clubs speak, then they still want to spend that much, right? Why are people fighting over Abhishek Thekcham, why are the clubs fighting over this and that player? It's a problem. The clubs need to realize that. And that so-called Messiah is trying to make it worse using, Supreme Court, Delhi High Court, AIFF committees. Yeah, that's true, Blue. Another people who didn't came for exam had links, got the certification. He made a post and said he read making the switch, so don't. Okay. Can't Reliance buy licenses of players and clubs on one go and kick out AIFF? Then they don't need to share profit every year, and AIFF can concentrate on national team. Utsav, it's not about buying the license. The question is, how are they going to fund the national team? The AIFF need the money from Reliance to fund the national team and the whole system. Right? It is not like I take the money out and then the system runs. No, the money needs to come in to run it, right? So is the ball in FSDL's court now? If AIFF thinks they have other means, they are doomed. Who will spend that much money other than FSDL? Renal, it's not an FSDL court. FSDL doesn't exist. Let's call them Reliance now, and it's a question of sorting out the contract in the Supreme Court, right? That's the channel, right? So therefore that's the challenge. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. So therefore, it's going to be a challenge, right? But clubs now will have 60% share, so most of the loss will be there. So it will depend how much loss they want. In theory, yes. And I'm not sure if the clubs have already agreed to that model. But it's very interesting because there have not been any conversations, I think, before the last 10 days. It's such a shame that they can't regulate these players' wage inflation. I know it's not that easy, but again, you aren't even trying. And to clubs, it's absolutely senseless. They did regulate, no, Rishabh, with the initial salary cap, right? And I remember I signed my last two players in domestic draft. I signed for less money because I was close to the cap, and later on, nobody cared about it. It should be a sports ministry who should sponsor AIFF and national team. Utsav, that's not how it works around the world. Sports ministries don't sponsor national teams. Missed Vaichung's press conference. Anything significant? Ishan, I would say watch the first half an hour, 40 minutes of this live. I think that gives you an insight on what Vaichung said. Simple summary is no. I mean, the significant thing is we blamed Kalyan for mismanagement. Manu was signing. He defended BVFS, his own track record, yeah. Clubs are creating such greedy pool of ballers, unpassionate for the game anymore. All they want is to show moments and collect their paycheck. Yeah, Rishabh, we're close to the problem. Are you excited for tomorrow's U23 match? No, I've seen enough in the last game. Again, I see no hope in the under 23 qualifiers. This bunch, again, even if we had won, I would have said the same thing. I think only positive is if it's just said Tata bye-bye. That would have been hilarious. Maybe they said it without saying it, right? If the AIFF has removed the ISL from the calendar, that is a sign. The clubs are very, very worried. The clubs are postponing their preseason. The transfer market has been the quietest since the ISL has come in. So all these factors that we are seeing at this moment in time, I feel are very, very disturbing. As per the proposal system of FSDL, the ISL needs to generate at least 300 crore for AIFF to get the 50 crore from it. Of profits. Yeah, Palash, they're going to share the profits. Karma, you think. Very good. Do you think AIFF could sustain itself without FSDL money? No. Who's going to give them even 1 rupee? The government is not supporting them. The FIFA grants are what they are. There is nothing extra on it. And AFC as well. Who's going to give the AIFF extra money? You know? Yeah. So I watched Ashish video. He said since OG clubs stopped giving license fees, the disturbed revenue reduced from 1913. But Utsav, it has rather to do with the fact that less sponsors. Look at the backdrops of ISL games 5 years ago and look at them today. There are much less sponsors in the pool. I have a conspiracy theory that all these ISL owners who spend their money literally burn it. It's all money laundering. I refuse to believe they're willing to invest even with losses. Maybe you're right, Rushabh. I don't know, but maybe that's the fact. Without ISL, will they be able to survive? Who's going to sponsor them for local tournaments? Nothing. The AIFF has to organize national leagues. I've heard that if FSDL are no longer there, then I-League 3 dies. So AIFF will try and run most probably I-League, I-League 2. IWL 2 dies, so there would be most probably only IWL. And then you will see centralized tournaments for all the state tournaments, men's, women's, seniors, juniors. And then national team will only play those matches they'll have to play. It is very, very dark if we go down the route. I mean, Indian business has a lot of money without tax. Yeah, but not coming to football. The company in which I work for CS is around 60 lakh. We can have India Coca anyways. Sorry. Let me read it again, Shushanto. The company in which I work for, CSR is around 60 lakhs. Can we help in India and Kolkata football anyways? Of course. If that is kind of money you want to put in, surely. There could be development projects, grassroots project done for that money, 100%. Get in touch with me. Yeah, we can have a conversation surely about that. July 23rd is when Supreme Court returns from break, so only after they will hear the case. So most probably Supreme will take up to August, September, and only after AIFF election, then MRA will be taken up. No, I said. Anupam, that is my fear. That is my fear, that things will be delayed in such a way that mid-September start is out of the question. It will harm the Durand Cup. And the question then also is, what happens to the Super Cup, Federation Cup? Mentioned in the schedule, but going to happen or not? I also second the conspiracy theory. Yeah. Maybe if we add more clubs in ISL, in theory, there will be more franchise fees. The pool will be bigger and clubs could break even. But how is that going to help? I am paying 15 crores into the system. So I am minus 15 crores. Right? But if you're repaying me 15 crores from what I've given you, that's a plus minus calculation. How can that work, Utsav? Neil Kamal Furniture was Moonward sponsors in 1920. Back to the past, I guess. Oops. Yeah. ISL as a money laundering scheme sounds attractive, though it's a limited club membership. No one raises any eyebrows. You are in good light. Again, it's a stupid conspiracy theory, but kind of makes sense. Yeah, but with that small money, yeah. India Kyrgyzstan U23 match timing and live telecast. I think it's 8:30 tomorrow. And it's again on that Tajik channel, which showed the match 2 days ago, Akshay. I heard the conspiracy theory. Okay, it's getting more and more. Wasn't the franchise fee 8 crores? Yeah, but Utsav, if I'm paying money into the system and I'm already 8 crores minus, 10 crores minus, 15 crores minus, the system has to give me more than that money, then I can make a profit, right? So it mustn't, it doesn't add up. It doesn't work, right? If I'm paying into the system, but you want money from the system, sorry, to me that is not working. Guys, please share your theories. Oops, now we are in that phase. Who will pay? And that's my next question. I thought franchise fees is something of the past. It's done, right? Aren't we done with it? 10 years contract. Time and hour example of your theory. You never know. Okay, but isn't the money being spent in Indian football too small? Isn't it more something that happens in the IPL context? Just asking a question. Just asking a question for a friend. Right, 1 hour 45 minutes. Quick reminder to those of you who are liking the discussion conversation. 20 likes only today. I think we can do better. Yeah, share it with other people who maybe be interested to watch our regular Indian football discussions. Do subscribe as well to the channel. We're at 2,701 at this moment. So seems like we've cracked the 2,700 mark. Thank you very, very much. Now moving towards the 3,000 mark. And yeah, watch the short videos that I make. As I said, did something about the death of the ISL today, yesterday about ISL clubs. Ravi Pushkar's interview, already over 1,100 views. Thank you very, very much for that. And all the other stories that are there, even some older ones, as always. Do your clubs with back out from ISL runs, backs out from the league completely? Yes. I think most of the ISL teams, forget ISL teams, I think ISL, I-League, ISL, I-League 2, I-League 3 maybe, there will be a lot of teams who will be either shutting down their football operations or saying, you know what, I go back to local football. Kyrgyzstan game to me sounds easier than previous ones, so we shouldn't hype if we had a good result. I think most countries have problems with big boomers like we do. Yeah, looks like it, Rushabh. Whenever I'm sure AFF, whatever, I'm sure AFF can't even run IWL without FSTL. Yeah, Blue, very true. Without their money, yeah. Diamond is back by Abhishek Banerjee. So again, theories. Yep, Raj, that's where we are these days. Where Abhishek, Hikcham will go, FC Goa, Mohun Akshay, maybe stay at Punjab FC. Yeah. My conspiracy theory is that India has been asked by other European South American countries because not to take football seriously, otherwise India would dominate the sports again. Again? Where did we dominate? Just like cricket at this moment. We were never dominant. They sell us we were dominant, but I don't think we were dominant. So therefore, don't buy those theories. That would be my request, Angry Birds. That would be my request to you and everybody else. Right. Yeah, Polosh. It is, if you want to go down that theory road, go out. We could go, I don't know where. That's the problem. Why are people asking about transfer? We won't have any football left in this country. Aryan, yeah, good, valid point from your side. And therefore, again, we have bigger things to discuss, bigger things to worry about. And at this moment, looks very, very tough. Right? That's my concern. At this moment, we need better leadership, better management. And Blue says real estate is much better than spending in football where money ain't coming again. That's also a fact, right? If I'm spending 1 rupee, I'm getting 0 back. That's also a fact. And Russia, the rest of the countries are poor back then, and fun enough, we never progressed. They did. Yeah. Or a lot of countries didn't play football. Football was like, let's say, hockey of today. Everyone excited only for transfer market when league is uncertain, then what's the point of it? Very good point. Now Club World Cup is interesting, unpredictable results. Let's see. I think the Club World Cup will get interesting once we get to the knockout stage. Right. Nearly 1 hour and 50 minutes, nearly 110 minutes of this discussion on this Friday evening, on the day that Bhutia held a press conference and spoke about his side of the story. The AIFF, or rather Kalyan Chaubey, reacted via an AIFF press release. We've got the Indian under-23s playing tomorrow against Kyrgyz Republic, and yeah, FIFA Club World Cup to look forward to. Sorry. Do you think ever still backing out clubs closing these high-end operations focusing on local area could be a blessing in disguise? I don't think that most of the ISL teams, if they back out, they back out completely. They will not have a local operation. I think there are some I League 2 clubs who might say, you know what, I don't want to play national level football. I will focus on my local league. Everyone is trying to be a messiah and fool the fans, and we are getting fooled. Aryan, very well said. That's why I don't want to be a messiah, and I don't want to be the savior. I just tell you what I think is right, and therefore you can believe it or you don't. And yeah, that's the realities are. And I've said this throughout my life, throughout my time, and I'll stick to that. PSG loss is big upset. What do you say? Of course, Botafogo beating Paris Saint-Germain is a big upset, but let's see. This is the group stage. Knockouts will be interesting, and I guess let's see. From the quarterfinals, we'll realize. Last 8 we'll realize are the usual suspects, mainly the Europeans and maybe 1 or 2 South Americans in it, or are there some surprises? Right, that's the last thing that I'm going to answer tonight. Thank you very much for joining, and once again, like, share, and subscribe arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias. Visit arunfoot.com, and I'll be back on Sunday. I'm on a wedding tomorrow, so I'm not going to be not there. You're welcome, Anupam. Trying to. And Blue says, NI covered by press con traction. Okay, let's see. I haven't seen it on their platform. South American team will win Club World Cup. I don't think so. But anyway, good night, everyone. I'll see you on Sunday. Maybe things are a little better on Sunday, or maybe the status quo continues. Good night.